Hello, we're looking at problem 5 from lesson 4-6. It says identifying a reasonable domain and range. Painting. You have 3 quarts of paint to paint and trim your house. A quart of paint covers 100 feet squared. A function a of q equals 100q, represented by the area a of q in square feet, and q quarts of paint cover. What domain and range are reasonable for the function? What is the graph of the function? So let's talk about what we know first. We know that 1 quart of paint covers 100 feet squared. You have 3 quarts of paint. Reasonable domain and range values in order to graph. So we need that. We need to plan at least the greatest amounts of paint you can use in the areas to trim and cover, and use these values to make a graph. So the least amount of paint you can use is none, right? So there'd be 0 quarts of paint. You have only 3 quarts of paint, so the most paint that you can use is 3 quarts. So the greatest domain value is 3 and the least is 0. So the domain will be between 0 and 3. And I can use half quarts of paint. I can use 1 1/3 quarts of paint. So I can use all of those values. So all those values are included. I'm not just talking about integers. It says to find the range, evaluate the function using the least and greatest domain value. So if I plug in 0, I get 0. And if I plug in 3, I get 300. So my range would be 0 to 300. So to graph, and it asks what is the graph of the function. It does ask me to graph the function. So it says the graph of the function, make a table of values, choose the values, and again we don't have to do that. We can just put it in our handy dandy free graphing calculator, and we see this from 0 to 300, and these are the values that we can have. All right, let's do got it 5 now on our own. It says if you have 7 quarts of paint, what domain and range are reasonable for problem 5? Okay, so it'll be the same type of logic. Oops, excuse me. It'll be the exact same type of logic. We can go from 0, greater than or equal, less than or equal to, quarts, less than or equal to 7. So I can go from 0 to 7. So I know that those are the amount. And again, the exact same logic. I know that if I plug in 0 for a of 0 is 0, and then a of 7 would be 100 times 7, which is 700. So I can have either 0 feet squared or 700 feet squared. And then if I graph it, oh, do they ask me to graph it? Nope. What is the domain and range? All right, so the domain and range again would be from 0 to 700. That would be the domain, and the range would be from 0 to 700. Okay? It says, why does it not make sense to have domain values less than 0 or greater than 3 in problem 5? Well, it doesn't make any sense to have any values less than 0 because, first of all, I can't have 0. I can't have negative amount of paint. I'm not going to buy a negative amount of paint. I'm not going to go into the store and say, hey, can you give me negative 3 quarts of paint? No, I can only have either 0 quarts of paint or more or greater, right? And then it says, why can't I have values greater than 3? Let's go back and look at the problem. It says that I have 3 quarts of paint. So if I put anything greater than that, it would be untrue. I don't have that much. I can probably go to the store and get some more, but this is what I have right now. And I hope that this helps.